how far should you push yourself up the career ladder before you start getting the negative trade-off, and kind of the achievement, enjoyment of like pushing yourself up the career ladder? When do you stop and not become a manager?
Well, that's a pet subject of mine, although I don't have a brilliant answer, because when I was in management, I kept thinking if I could just go one more level up, I'd be happy. If I could go one more level up, I could make a difference. And actually, every level I went up got worse. It was like going from marijuana to cocaine to heroin or whatever, because you just thought one more level up, I'll be happy. Not that I've done those, but and actually you just get worse, you just get deeper in. And I just found that every level I went up, it got more political. And I got further away from the coalface, from the reality of what was actually earning us money, the manufacturing of products or whatever it was, delivering a service. And you get so far distant from reality that it just becomes very unsatisfying. So, if you've got 100 people working for you, you make 1% difference to 100 people, and that adds up to 1, but you're only making 1% difference to each person. And I just found it got less and less satisfying, and it got better paid, of course, but less satisfying. And that's why they pay you more, because the job gets more and more unpleasant and they have to pay you more. Yeah. I think as you go up the ladder, it gets more stressful. You get more separated from reality. There's more politics, which some people may enjoy, but I always thought was pointless. But you're right. It also takes more time. So I've been talking to a guy recently, and he's paid 100 grand. He works for a bank, but he's working 70 hours a week. So that's 10 hours a day for 7 days a week, or, 12 hours a day for, 5 days a week or something. And that's just an insane amount. And he said, they don't even like me. They don't even care about me. He said, I know my boss doesn't even care about me. And he's giving 70 hours of his life. And he's only young, so he probably thinks he's got all the time in the world, but he hasn't. And he's got kids, and he wants to have a social life. But he said to me, I can't give up the 100 grand they're paying me, and I'm just thinking, you've got to, but it's like a drug, so.
But that's in that current job, huh? I think that the solution is in being more open to the possibilities, because if let's say I'm in a job in a company, and I know if I go up in the ladder, in this company, I can get more paid, but I will sacrifice my freedom a bit more.
Eh? And you tell yourself it's okay because I'll save the money up and I'll need the money for my pension, and I can actually buy a bigger house for my family to live in without me because I'm always working. And you sort of tell yourself stories, but in the end, I actually think if you're paid more, you spend up to that level, and the money doesn't make you happier, but the lack of time does, and the time's more important. And so I'd recommend not going up the ladder. It didn't make me happy. I do know some friends who quite like management. I think if you're into power or politics, then go up the ladder. But actually, I think only a sort of quite twisted person would be into those things. And
does mean.
But I also think, just to answer the question a bit more precisely, Camille's question is, my balloon thing where when you get to 7, you're on maximum achievement. In fact, I'll quickly just draw it. If you haven't got to this bit, it's a real treat in store, I think. There's this curve like this, and this is the amount you achieve, and this is the amount you enjoy. And so as you go up the stressometer, as you get promoted, you go from here, you go up like this. And so what happens is that when you're going up in this trade-off zone, and this is 7 out of 10 on the stressometer, as you go here, you're increasing the amount you achieve, but you're reducing your quality of life. And to start with, it's not too bad. But when you go from 6 to 7, you only achieve a little bit more, but you have to give up quite a lot of enjoyment, of quality of life. I'll put quality of life down here. And you pay quite a big price to get that last little bit of achievement. And I think, if you want to win the Olympic gold medal, you have to be at the top of your achievement, and you have to give up your quality of life. But in a management job, there's no point in achieving a little bit more if it costs you so much in terms of time and stress. And the worst thing is if you go around here to 8 or 9, because this carries on down here, and I know friends who are 8 or 9, and their quality of life is just almost 0 now, and they're actually achieving less because they're so stressed, and that's definitely mad. There's definitely no point in going down to 8. But the question really is whether to go from 6 to 7. And I just think you get diminishing returns, and you've got to be really careful about going up the management tree. You want to be really sure it's going to make you happier. And but I also think, and I will have said this on this diagram on the course, that, can I do a survey? How many of you have seen this bit on the course? Can you just put your hand up if you've seen it? Oh, you mostly, oh yeah, some have. I think it might be in the stress part of the program, actually, which is right at the end. But it says basically that you could be a quality of life maximizer and be here and just be at 3 on the stressometer. And I think there is an argument for that, actually. And obviously companies are trying to get you at 7 because they just want to get the maximum out of you, even if it makes you less happy. But I think there is an argument to go from 3 to 4 or 5, because it's a slightly reduced quality of life, but you are achieving more. And if happiness comes from achievement plus enjoyment, if you want to maximize both, you know, then the best maximum point is probably at about 4 or 5, where you're achieving quite a lot, but not as much as you could achieve if you gave everything up. But why should you? So, you know, I think my friend who's working those 70 hours a week, absolutely, he's at 8, and he should go back to 5 or 6. And he could probably almost achieve the same amount, but I think he probably will achieve a bit less and be paid a bit less, but I think he'll get a lot more happiness. So I do think going up the management tree is a drug, and I don't think it should be your goal. And that's what I found. It's almost a con. They tell you you're honored to be promoted. And when they offer to promote you, you can't say no. If you said, oh, no, I don't want that, they think you were weird. But I've realized, having done a lifetime of being promoted, that actually it's a con.